Hello, everybody. It's Mark Ling here. I've got with me a really interesting and special guest. His name is Dave Kettner. And what is really impressive about him is that he has made millions of dollars by private labeling, or I should say, I don't know if private labeling is the right word for this, but by printing custom prints on mugs. Um, so what I'll do is I'll start by asking you, Dave, do you have any mugs with you or any examples maybe you could show us, or just so people can picture what this looks like as a business? Like what sort of stuff are
I could
people
find
buying?
one. I didn't realize you were going to ask me that question. I'm looking around the
Sorry,
office.
Sorry.
And
I should have thought of
normally
that.
I'm drinking
Yeah.
a mug, and I have one a good example. But of course, I'm not at 3 p.m. here. It's my time. I'm not going to be drinking a coffee this
Yeah,
late.
fair enough.
But
Yeah.
I can get one.
Yep.
But yeah, basically, I mean, we're just talking about coffee. We start with coffee mugs, right? And just a simple design onto coffee mugs is what we're doing, and we're talking. It's print on demand, so it's not private label, because sometimes when you say private label, we're thinking like Amazon,
thinking branding and stuff. Yeah, it's not private label. It's
we do always. Let me grab. I can grab some. Hold on a second.
All right. Oh,
and I'm not even sure what I have over here, but let me open up this box.
I got one just for a starter.
There you go.
Best husband ever. Anyone, like, nobody owns the brand, husband, just say best husband ever, best wife ever, amazing husband.
Right.
Happy Valentine's Day.
And the thing I had over here was not a good example. I apologize. But because I usually have like a whole bunch of ones, because we did a lot with Learn and Onyx put together a whole bunch. Like we have, best boss, or, Onyx always talks about when life pushes you back, stand tall, straight, and push it the heck back. We have ones like that, so, I took the day off because, I'm my own boss or something like that. There's so many different things.
And you've got a couple. Did you say you've got a couple there?
Not right here. That's what I said.
Okay. No, that's all right. Yeah. No, perfect. It doesn't matter. You're giving examples. Sorry. That's the nature, though, of the way I do my interviews, guys. I just try to grill the person for as much as I can get out of them, put them on the spot, and sometimes
not a problem.
Yeah, that might catch you out, but I'm here to just ask you anything that comes to mind, because I want to grill you for all the info I can get out of you on this stuff. So you've managed to not only do really, really, really well, but you've also had thousands of students manage to do incredibly well without even remotely saturating the market. How's that even possible? How can you end up having, a lot of people running successful businesses selling mugs and not have there be this big overload? Like, what's going on?
That's a great question, Mark. Yeah. And it's because it's unique, because when you are making your own designs, it is something that's totally different and unique to anything else that's out there. So, I work with my students to, we see what's selling well, first of all, right? And then we get ideas from that. And then we're not going to ever copy what other people are doing, but then we either can do it ourselves, or we can purchase designs, or we can have, a designer do it for us. And then we make something unique. And that's why it will never get saturated, because we're making unique designs that don't exist in the marketplace yet. Right. So we're always creating something new. And when you think about it, if I were to show you like 4 different mugs, it could have the same saying on it, Mark. Like you just had the best husband ever. There's a design on that, right? We can do like 3 other different designs that say the exact same thing, but look differently. Right?
I know one could have a puppy on it, and
it could be a
people
puppy
that are into dogs might
different
like that.
text. I mean, the sky's the limit with just that one design, right? Yeah. And so when people come and look for best husband ever for a gift for their husband, or maybe it's their children looking for their, whatever, they are going to pick something what they like, right? And everyone has different styles. So you might like that mug. I might like a different style best husband mug. There's going to be so much different things that they can choose from. It's like going to let's go shopping for clothes, right?
Yeah.
You might pick out a different shirt. Like I picked out this blue shirt. You might say, Dave, that blue's not my color. I like black. Well, then you pick a black version of it. If maybe you don't even like this style, there's going to be all these kind of different things are still going to sell, but it's not going to saturate the market, because there's always going to be people that like different things.
I think one of the reasons why it doesn't saturate the market is because there's such mass market appeal, because just about every single household in the world has mugs.
It's true.
So if everyone's buying them at some point in time, people sometimes underestimate how big, several billion people online actually
You're
are.
right. And you know what? Let me ask you this, Mark. How many mugs do you think you have in your cabinet there in the house? Ceramic mugs.
I wouldn't be able to count. And when you talk
There's a
about these
lot, right?
custom personalized mugs, probably at least 20.
Okay. And then think about maybe in a year's time, how many of those might break?
Yeah, I don't know.
I know we break,
but
3
even
or
if
4
you
a year.
don't break them, sometimes you just get one as a gift anyway. Or
there you go. That's another reason you're giving it as it's a great gift item for people. So the way we broke down the numbers, actually, there are, and we focused on the United States, but you do the world. That's a good one too. But in the US, right, we have over 300,000 households, right? And if every household just bought, I'm sorry, 300,000 people, and if every person just we had bought a new mug a year, that would be 300 some odd thousand. But if we did an average, let's say three a year, we're talking 1 million mugs, right there in the US alone. And so, yeah, you're right. There's tons of people that are always buying mugs and buying them as gifts. And there's lots of reasons, but that's another reason why we won't get saturated.
And yet someone can run a 6-figure business without selling that many mugs a year. I mean, you could be selling a dozen mugs a day and already be bringing in significant revenue, let alone selling thousands, which some mugs can just really take off.
Some go viral. That is correct. But the most of the students that I work with will have designs that will be, you always have the 80-20 rule. You'll have, 80% of your designs will bring in, 20% of your designs will bring in 80% of the revenue. Right. But where you really make the money in this business is by having a lot of different products, a lot of different designs, multiplying, adding up to what you're making throughout the month, throughout the year.
And I guess one thing that's really good about this particular model is that it's print on demand. So you could come up with a design and not have it cost you anything. You don't have to print off 5,000 mugs or something. You could print off no examples or one example for photographs or something without having to get 5,000 of them made. So if it doesn't sell, it's not costing you.
You want to hear?
It does sell, it's dropship.
You know what, Mark? I don't even make one until one sells. So we don't even have to get the pictures. It's all digital pictures, right? It's even better. Mock-ups on a real mug. So no, I don't ever touch my products unless I want one myself. So you're exactly right. We don't have to. That's another great thing about this business is you don't have to create the inventory in advance. It's POD, print on demand. So that basically means that when it is ordered, when there's a need for it, then it gets printed. The need is when someone buys it. So when someone purchases it is when we get it made.
Yeah, no, that's great. And there's so many niche interests and stuff like that. People often would get these sort of things as gifts, right? Someone likes baseball. So it could have, I don't know, a quote from a famous baseball player, or it could have baseball lover on it or something like that. Or, or person's name hits one out of the park and there could be a picture of a person whacking a baseball.
So you just said it right there. So do you realize what you just said? You said person's name. Then we get into personalization of the designs, right? So if you're putting your own name on it or whoever you're purchasing it for, you can put pictures of your kids or, we had one design that sold really good, really well there in Father's Day, where it said from, and it, had, to whatever the dad's name's to Mark, and then love. And you have how many? You have 3 kids?
Yeah.
Okay, I see a picture in the background there. 4. Yeah. Okay. So you could have it where it could actually be designed. They put their names, they could put their pictures on there. That is all about personalization. And that could be, that's all part of the print on demand model, which makes it so, you're never going to be saturated because it can be done so many different ways. So personalization is huge.
Can you legally I know you can't use other people's brand names, but can you use catchphrases that aren't trademarked? Let's say, I don't know, this is probably trademarked, but let's say it wasn't. Okay. A phrase like "we were on a break," and
I don't know what that means. Trademark. That's
from Friends, right? The TV show. Especially if you use you went and bought the rights to use the typeface. You can just buy that typeface online, and you used it and put it on a mug and said "we were on a break" and you sold that. Can you do stuff like that? Because then you could just. Because then
you're exactly right. So if there is not a trademark or copyright on something, you can definitely use it. And if you ever want to, you know, if you get something that goes viral and you're like, hey, I want to protect that, I want to make sure that no one else copies me, you can then get it copyrighted or trademarked. So yeah, there's ways we go through and check it. So you're exactly right. If it's not trademarked or copyrighted, we can put that design on a mug, we put that quote on a mug, but we got to be careful, because if it is, then, you know, we can easily get shut down and we can have issues with selling in our store.
Yeah. So
like, just do it. We're not going to use that one.
Trademarks are, trademarks are easy to search for anyway. I'm sure you teach that in your course. It's pretty straightforward to, look up if there's a trademark for something. Now, what about margins then? Like, is this a low margin business or a high margin business model?
So I'm going to tell you what the margins are. You tell me if you consider that high margin or not. Okay. We should, if doing this model correctly, should be around the 35 to 40% profit margin on net. What do you think about that?
No, that's great. Does that include any costs of advertising or anything like that?
So those costs are already included into that. So I'm factoring in those kind of margins after ads.
That sounds pretty exciting. So someone could spend $1,000 then, including ads, including everything it costs to ship the mug to the people, and they would get 1,350 back, and you've already factored in all the costs.
That's correct.
That's how this model works.
That is correct.
That's pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of businesses out there that function on anywhere from 2 to 10% margins, big businesses. So you're talking 35% margins. That's pretty much the kind of margins that people get rich off.
You're exactly right. And we can do it all the way up to 50% margins when we start moving things over to Amazon, and they get a lot of organic traffic. So you get things ranking. And I always say that the holy grail of Amazon is organically ranking, right? Because then you're not paying a dime besides what you're producing, the product itself. And you got orders coming in like mad crazy. Now you have no ad could be your biggest expense, right? But if you don't have ads because you're ranking organically and you're getting tons of traffic from it, hey, you sit back and let it roll, and it starts rocking.
Yeah, no, I think that sounds pretty exciting. Now, what about you? I don't even know anything about, I don't know a lot about your background. Like,
okay, that's fine.
How did you get into this?
So it's a great question. So I actually started on Amazon back in 2009. And back in 2009, I was just selling other people's products. I was basically getting things for wholesale, retailing them on Amazon. I didn't know a thing about Amazon. I was basically just putting it up there and they were selling. All right. I just retired from my teaching job. I was then moved to full-time from home, doing very well doing it. In 2013, I came across this private label course to learn how to make your own brand, because I actually started having some struggles where I was selling some of these companies products so well that they said, you know what, look how well Dave's doing it. We're going to do it. And so they stopped allowing me to sell their product. It's their product, it's their choice. So I was like, all right, I need to find a way to own the brand. I need to control this business, right? So I started then to, creating my own products with my own brand. And that was in the fall of 2013. And within 6 months, we were at 250,000 plus per month revenue side on the Amazon private label. Okay. And then I started getting into the teaching thing. I started doing some courses. I started making deals and relationships with people like Robert Kiyosaki, Anik Singhal. They started having me do some trainings for them and whatnot. Amazing selling machine, and it was going great. But the thing was with that model, it was always an upfront cost. You always had to buy the inventory in advance. And there was people that were starting that, they're like, hey, I don't have much money to start, let alone do it, starting with a few $1,000s for a course and then have to lay down another $1,000, $2,000 of inventory. And so I've been really on an outlook, Mark, for the last few years to find a better way to help people get into that very profitable business model, but not have to put that money up front. And so over the last couple of years, I came up with this idea of, finding a niche within a niche, really, how to get started with the private label stuff, but doing it without having to put money up front. And that was with print on demand. The onset of and the growth of Etsy, actually the Etsy marketplace, made it possible. We were trying to do it on Amazon, and Amazon's just become this, big 800-pound gorilla machine. It's really hard to work with. It's back in the day when I started, I throw some stuff up there to sell. Can't do that anymore. It's a lot of competition going on there. But Etsy, just starting out, there's not too many people now playing in the Etsy ring. And so we carved out this niche working on Etsy to get these designs selling a print on demand on Etsy. and then we can flow it all the way through to Amazon and find success on Etsy first, move it to other products, move it to Amazon, and eventually get the private label if someone wants to grow to that realm.
So you don't get people to drop ship from their own website. You get them to sell from Etsy.
That's correct.
That's your main traffic source. That's your big, obviously you've got other secrets that we're going to share on our live training coming up.
That's right.
But
Etsy is where we start.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's brilliant because I buy stuff off Etsy, customized. I can see why other people do. I buy, well, when I say I mean my wife buys.
Of course,
a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff off Etsy.
Right.
It's and if that's happening, I can see
there's a growing marketplace, and they have a lot of good traffic. And we talked about ads, and I know people that they get killed with coming up with doing Facebook ads, and there's we have good margins, but you got to realize on a product we're talking $15, $17, $18 product, so we don't have much to work with as far as ads if we're doing Facebook. But we use what's called Etsy ads, which is their own platform within their platform, and it's so primitive right now that you don't do much besides turn on this little thing that says, yes, I want to advertise this product. And then it goes on. Of course, it's pulling keywords from your listing and what you put in there to create it, right? But there isn't,
that's exciting.
There isn't creatives we're trying to do. There isn't groups we're targeting it to, nothing.
There's so many people making a killing on Etsy doing all sorts of different things. So this also, for some people, could be a good way in. It's almost like you're testing the waters. You could make a six-figure income selling mugs, but you could then dovetail from there and go, well, I'm really enjoying this, but now that I know what I'm doing with Etsy, I mean, I want to sell, I don't know, it could be personalized little, like we've bought these wood boards, like it's wood and it's got the name of the child on the board painted really nicely, and you stick it to the wall, on your kid's bedroom wall. So there's one person out there making tons of sales of those, more than one actually. There's probably dozens of people making tons of sales of those things, personalized. There's other people selling t-shirts, there's other people selling pens that are personalized and other things like that.
And there's so many, and Mark, just so you know, there's so many, these print on demand suppliers to work with, these manufacturers, right? I mean, they're all over the place. The one specific one that I work with is called, it's a company called Icon Ecom. It used to be known Printech. I don't know if you've heard of them before, but they have over 100 different products to choose from. So like you were saying, they have, first of all, they have the mugs, they have, ceramic mugs, they have travel mugs, they have all kinds of different things. Then you have water bottles and tumblers, and you have wine glasses, and just the sky's the limit just on the drink side of things. But then you're talking, you have these, like you're looking at, like I was looking at some of the pictures you have behind you on the wall. I mean, you can put together slate pictures customized with with your family, with engagement date, wedding, whatever. They have cutting boards for the kitchen. There's tons of different things. They have clothes, the t-shirts, sweatshirts, all kinds of different things.
You can get glasses that have frosted personalization that can come across as, well, in some cases it can come across more classy to some people, or there's all sorts of things. Heck, you can make your own personalized iPhone covers if you want to.
They have those.
Mugs, I'm guessing you must always, I mean, you've obviously, I'm guessing it's either you make the most of your money through mugs, or two, you've found that people seem to find that the easiest way to get a good early successes. Is that why you usually start
the latter?
With mugs?
Because it's a gift item, and it's something that people usually buy, no brainer. Like I said, it's $15, $20 before the shipping on there, and people are buying them for gifts all over the place, and they're selling like crazy. We found that t-shirts a little harder to sell because there's a lot of people that have been in t-shirts over the years. But there's still, and t-shirts a little bit more selective, right? Because people
you've got to know the right size for the person and stuff like that. I don't even have to think about what size is the right mug for someone. Just buy it.
Right.
It's fine.
Right. Then we have two sizes. Cool. We have 11-ounce mug and a 15-ounce mug. You want the bigger one or the smaller one? Really, that's all there is. But no, it's a no-brainer purchase is what it comes down to. It's an easy gift item, and things are selling like crazy. I mean, you know that success leaves clues, right? So all we have to do is look online, see what's selling well, and then we duplicate that, right? And when I was going through trying to determine like what we're going to sell, and what we're going to start with, that's where the biggest sales were happening, and the ease to do it was just incredible. So yeah, it's just
And when you teach people this stuff, you teach them how to automate things so that they don't.
Oh yeah.
Because what if someone makes 1,000 sales a day? So they're one of your best students that makes, let's say one of your best students makes $1 million a year on Etsy, and they're making over 1,000 sales per day. It must be largely automated, right?
It's all automated. So we have, through our supplier, we have automations that connect. We have actually a free connection that goes, I should say free. We include it for the first year for Etsy and also for Amazon. I think normally it would be like $10 a month for Etsy. So even still, if we didn't include it, it wouldn't be that much. I think it's 20 for Amazon. But what that automation does is it connects from our supplier to our Etsy store or Amazon store. When an order goes through, it's connected. It goes directly to the supplier. Things happen when I'm sleeping, goes through. As soon as it's ready to ship, then it contacts back to Etsy and says, hey, this shipped, here's the tracking, the customer, all automated. The only time I ever have to touch something is if there's a customer that sends us a message and we have to respond to it. Maybe they're like, they didn't realize it's going to take 3 days to produce the product before it ships. Like maybe on the second day, they're like, hey, why didn't this ship yet? And then we'll respond back, hey, it's because it takes 3 to 5 business days before it ships. That's our biggest messages we have to deal with. But yeah, no, everything's taken care of because that does happen over the holidays. So during Christmas time, things are smoking. They're just going through. I can't imagine. It would be a full-time job probably for 1 or 2 people just plugging in those orders if it wasn't automated.
Yeah, no, it's exciting, and people can be anywhere in the world and do this.
Correct. So I do. So you're in New Zealand, right?
Yeah.
So when you order from Etsy, do you have an Etsy New Zealand, Australia? Where do you order from?
My wife orders from Etsy USA, but
okay.
I bought it's only about $10 a month, I think it is, but I bought a US postal address that automatically forwards stuff from there all the way to New Zealand.
That's
so
it's
it's an easy way. It's cheaper that way, and it's an easy way to go. But I'm not familiar with how other New Zealanders would buy from Etsy, but I don't have to sell to New Zealanders. I can sell to Americans.
So, and that's where the most traffic is. So I recommend that anyone that's watching right now, this in the world, right? Wherever you are, you're going to open an Etsy.com store. So you're going to be selling on the .com site, which is in the United States. And we already have the supplier that's already set in the United States. And it's the easiest way to get started where the most traffic and sales are happening. So, if someone's in Canada and they want to do a .ca site, or if they're in the UK, I'd still recommend start on the .com because that's where the traffic is. Now, like you said, people can still order an international order, but then they're going to pay for the shipping. And I'm glad you have a solution for that. But we have international orders to go through, and people are willing to pay sometimes to get, a quality custom design mug.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. So I know you've got so much more to teach people, and obviously you're going to be showing people a lot of on-screen examples and stuff like that. I'm not going to catch you out on the workshop quite so much. You've got a lot to share with people. What can they expect to hear on the call about how to get started with this model? Like, what are you going to be sharing?
So I'm going to share the 4-step process of how to do this business model, and I'm going to walk through it right there in front. People are going to see not only the secrets of what I'm doing, but see exactly how it's done. All right. Of course, we're going to go over the whole business model. Like you explained, we're talking about, the margins, profit. I'm going to go over that. So they see the actual numbers, what we're charging, what we're paying, what the net profits would look like. If you do this many numbers, what does that mean to your bank account? So I'm going to go over all this different things. But I'll walk through an example while we do that call, start to finish. We'll go through, we'll find a design that is selling well. We'll go through and make it and then create it right there live on the workshop and, post it live onto our Etsy store, basically. So it's amazing the training that we're going to go through because people seem like, wow, I can't believe, first of all, that he's given all that away. But those are the secrets of the thing. And then that's why people want to be on the training.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it, guys. Depending on where you're watching this video, there will either be a link in the description below, or it might be above the video, depending where I've embedded it. But make sure that you join us for the workshop that's coming up very, very shortly. I can't wait. I'm really excited about this. It's really one thing that I really love about the business model is there's a lot of people succeeding with it without it oversaturating. It's a relatively simple, straightforward method. There's a lot of upside. The margins are great, and newbies are doing very well with this. And it's physical products, which a lot of people love working with. And it's a different traffic method. It's not that there's anything wrong with Facebook, YouTube, and all the works, but it's nice to have something actually different for a change that's not being saturated with, I don't know, all the gurus and well-known marketers. It's actually moms and pops doing really well running, these kitschy businesses. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. And time is, right now is the right time to do it. Not only because of what you just said, because there are going to be people being piling on, and, when you catch things at the beginning stages, that's when you have the most opportunity. Right. But, even, if we just talk about, when we're doing this training with you, we're prepping now for the fourth quarter. And, the fourth quarter is when people make killings. I always say that if there's people that are just selling their doing their online stores or online business just in the fourth quarter, you can make more in a year than you can make more in that fourth quarter than you can make in most years working a 9-to-5 job. So, time is right. This is the perfect time to get started, because we start rocking and rolling here, early November and December. And, the sales that go through from even new students, brand new stores, is incredible.
Awesome. No, that's fantastic. Well, thanks so much for joining me. I can't wait for the live workshop. So guys, make sure that you follow the link that's either going to be in the description below or above the video or to the side of the video, depending on where I've embedded it on whichever site that you've come across this interview on. Make sure you join us. And you're going to discover exactly how to implement this for yourself. It's an exciting model. All right. Thanks, Dave. I really, really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate you having me on. Look forward to seeing you on the training.
All right. Bye for now.
All right. Take care.